Peabody Magnet High School. Coach, we left off talking about some of the accomplishments of some of your players. But Coach, you've got so many accomplishments. Some of you have very, very highs, and some of the things you're very proud of in the program. I know it's too many to name, but just some of the highlights. You retired some numbers and different things. So talk a little bit about, Coach, this Peabody Magnet tradition and some of the very good highlights. And some of the kids that are listening, why would I want to come play for Peabody?
Okay, well, number one, as I said before, academics is number one. And I've been able to take young men who did not have the financial support to attend college, and they worked very hard in the classroom and on the basketball court, and they were able to secure over $100,000 in scholarships to attend Rice University, the University of Southern California, Oklahoma State. So that's a great accomplishment in itself. And not only did these young men attend these schools and play basketball, they were able to get their degrees after their basketball playing days were over. So that is one of the great accomplishments. Personally, the accomplishment is that on the other night I attended the game with the Brooklyn Nets, which Markel plays for, and the New Orleans Pelicans. Right. And one of my former players, Marcus Brown, who is a VP for Energy in New Orleans, he called me and said that he could get courtside seats for me. Right. And I told him I jumped at that. So I was able to sit courtside to watch one of my former players play in the NBA.
Right. That's a great thing, Coach, no doubt about it. Now, Coach, transitioning to high school basketball, and from the early years of the 1970s that you saw in the early 60s, late 60s, and all the way to the 2015. Coach, talk about a little bit about the transition. The players now a lot bigger, a lot quicker, and Coach, the discipline has to be more stronger now because you understand the situation. Some of us, coming in with no fathers, or it's one parent situation. Coach, talk about the intricacies about head coach to transition from the generation to generation. You've been in it 4 generations. So talk a little bit about, Coach, what keeps you in this game this long and what makes you keep you motivated.
Right. Well, one thing, Sean, is that, when I first started, the parents were involved. And if you had a problem with one of your players or student, you could go to the parent and they would correct the problem. In today's time, more or less, the parents come to the defense of the child. So as a coach and also as a teacher, you have to kind of deal with the parent and the child in a different situation now. But I've been able to adjust, and I've always been focused that my main goal is to work with young people and to help them move to another level. And I don't take anything personal. So that's one of the major changes. Also, in the early days, it was unheard of before. If a kid started a sport, for him to quit. He would see it through, even though it might not have been what he wanted to do. He didn't like it, but he would see it through. But in today's time, the young men, they'll come in one day and say, "Coach, this is not for me," and they'll quit on the spot. So that's one of the main difference, and also. That the perseverance of the young people today, that hard work, that dedication. So that's one thing that I have to try to, to look at each individual student and player and work with them on an individual basis.
Now, Coach, when you assess high school kids, junior high kids coming to your program from like Arch Smith and Brain, Pineville Junior High School, and all those Tioga Junior High, Coach, when kids walk in to the Emerald Palace or that fame situation, what is the message you try to tell those kids? They already know about the tradition. What are you trying to harness to those kids that want to aspire to be great Peabody basketball?
Well, the first thing I ask them, Sean, is let me see their report card. And that's very, very important because that lets me know if they are dedicated students. Because Peabody basketball has always been built around helping these kids make it to the next level. Now, when I say next level, that means using basketball in order for them to get a college degree. Only 2 since I've been there have been fortunate enough to go on to the NBA, and that was Paul Thompson, which was on the 1979 championship team, and Markel Brown, who is currently playing for the Brooklyn Nets. But as I said before, I have over 50 kids that have received basketball scholarships, and they've used those scholarships in order to get college degrees.
Coach, a little bit off the subject, but on the same subject about the coaching and the perseverance and your temperament as far as your attitude and as far as, Coach, I've watched you for 35, 40 years, just about all my life. And I know that from the aspect of the operation of the game itself, some of the calls, Coach, I watch how you, not get too upset, not too high, too low, but you when you need to get on them and hammer them and get the game in. Coach, talk a little bit about your philosophy of coaching, especially, a lot of people do think that since you're the legend and the long-time coach, you get a lot of extra calls. I won't put that out there right now. But it's not just you get extra calls, you demanding of a good play from all sides. Talk a little bit about that, Coach.
Well, number one, Sean, it's all about preparation. And the main thing I try to do is prepare my team. And we do that in the preseason, during the season, and in the off-season when we have a weight program and a conditioning program. And as you know, I mean, we're all human. Officials are going to make mistakes on the court, and sometimes I'm going to make mistakes in my coaching decision. But, you know, you have to, you know, be able to look at that and make adjustments with your team. And I tell my guys all the time, you have to adjust to the officials because they're not going to adjust to you. But, you know, sometimes you can pull an official over to the side, talk to them, and they will listen to you on some occasions.
On some occasions. Coach, it is no secret that this Warhorse basketball team, I call it a traveling team. You start even in the summer when the kids get a chance to play some AAU basketball in an organized program. But, Coach, this basketball team, the kids get a chance to just about travel all over the South.
That's correct.
Talk a little bit how important that is, kids, for you to expose your kids to different regions and different sectors of the country.
Right. Well, Sean, I've been very fortunate in that the young men who've gone through the program have given back. They reach back and they give back. So that enabled us to travel during the summer and let these young men play AAU basketball, which they play against some of the best boys in the country. And there have been several former players, Marcus Brown, Thomas, I hate to start naming names because you're going to miss some, Michael Beard, and several of my former players. They make donations to the team during the summer, which allows us to travel to Houston, Dallas, and also to Orlando, Florida, to compete in these AAU tournaments.
Coach, how big is this program as far as, I know you're the operations king and you CEO, and you kind of manage the whole thing, but Coach, it's a lot involved. It's not just the everyday. It starts all the way back in the spring, summer, fall. It's a continual process. Coach, talk a little about that whole program, that process. It's a lot of things that are going on with Peabody basketball as far as summer conditioning, all the way up to AAU ball, to the fall ball, to the spring, you know, that's correct. To the championship. Talk a little bit about that, Coach.
Well, number one, when the season ends, I give the guys 2 weeks off to rest and relax. Then we're back in the gym with our conditioning, strength and conditioning. We're lifting weights, we're running, and you know, we're doing those things in order to prepare their bodies for the next year. And then during the summer, we actually get into playing basketball, running offensive and defensive plays. So that kind of gives them a leg up on the upcoming season. So we have done that over the past 20 years. Since I've been the head coach. Now, I've been the head coach at Peabody for 30 years. And in that 30 years, the kids have kind of bought into what we're trying to do and help them move to the next level.
No doubt about it. I tell you what, we're going to take this break again, and we're talking with head coach, athletic director of Peabody Magnet High School, Coach Charles Smith. I'm Sean St. John, the voice of the horses. You're listening to Coach, you're listening to KAYT 88.1 with Coach Smith as we honor him during Black History Month. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're back with Coach Charles Smith, legendary basketball coach at Peabody Magnet High School and athletic director. And Coach Smith, one of the questions that came in from one of our panelists was about the kids that come out and try to make the basketball team here at Peabody Magnet High School. You know, it's an audition. I'm sure that you have over 100 kids that come out every year. Talk about the kids that are making coaching, the kids that don't make it, but you encourage them to keep pressing on. Talk a little bit about the process of making the Warhorse basketball team and what are you looking for?
Okay, that's a very good question. At the end of this season and the beginning of next season, you're right, we will have tryouts for next year's basketball team. And what I've done at Peabody, I have 3 teams. I have a 9th grade team, a junior varsity team, and a varsity team. And we allow any student that wants to try out for the basketball team, we give them that opportunity to try out. Okay, because we do know that every kid's skill level is not the same.
Absolutely.
But what we try to do, if they are not good enough or their skill level is not to that level for the junior varsity or varsity, we put them on the 9th grade team. And during the 9th grade season, you know, we prepare them, we train them, you know, we get them ready to move up to the next level. So what we try to do is bring the kids in at the lower level, the 9th grade level. So we encourage all of our 9th graders when they come into Peabody to come and try out for the team. And then we will work and develop them so they'll move to the next level, which is the junior varsity team, and then they'll move to the next level, which is the varsity team. But one thing I'll tell you this, Sean, I've never cut a kid since I've been at Peabody. I've always encouraged them, as I said, to start off at the ninth grade level. And if they feel that they are not quite good enough for the ninth grade level, I tell them to go back home, work on their skills, and come back and try out the next year.
Okay, Coach. And Coach, I'm going to switch a little bit of gears now. You know, this is now you're coming up to your 40th year in basketball, and 30+ years in the playoffs. You know, as a head coach. Now, Coach, LHSAA, our division we are under, sanctioned division, which has four levels, 5 levels with 5A, 4A, 3A, 2A, plus the independents. Coach, talk a little bit about the LHA and Peabody's involvement, and as you get to the playoffs, some of the intricacies about LHA basketball.
Okay, well, Sean, you know, I've been in the sports long enough. As I said, I've been the head coach for 30 years, and I was assistant coach at Peabody for 10 years. So that's 40 years of working with the Louisiana High School Athletic Association. And when we first started, they had what they call a northern and a southern region, where you had to win or come in first or second in your district, and then you were placed in the brackets.
Right.
That's changed over the past few years, and now what they've gone to is what they call a power ranking. And in that power ranking is determined by your level of competition. Right. That means that if we being a 4A school, if we play a 5A school, then we get more points. We right. get more quality points, right. which will determine if you're number 1, number 2, number 3 in the power ranking. And then at the end of the year, if you win your district, you will receive 1 extra point in the power ranking. And the power ranking is for the purpose of, if you're a number 1 seed, then you will play a number 32 seed. And if you're a number 2 seed, which we are currently this year, we played a number 31 seed, which was Vanderbilt Catholic in the opening round of the playoffs. Okay. And then you proceed through the brackets. You know, hopefully, if you continue to play top seed teams, we will get all 3 games at home. But if there's an upset, then we would have to travel.
We'll talk about that, Coach. Everybody always asks me about. It's like, no, it's not fair. We are probably the highest ranked team, and you know we do that every year.
1 or 2.
Or 1 or 2, and then we have to travel or something like that. And it's not just about wins and losses.
Right.
It's really you have to look at your schedule too. You you can't schedule all power plus no more. You have to schedule stronger competition, which give you more points. So talk a little bit about that, Coach. So you just can't just play a mini schedule. I call it Mickey Mouse schedule. Right. You have to play a real serious schedule.
That's correct. And you know, in the past, as I said, when they did the old brackets, you had teams that overpowered some of the teams that made it. But with the power ranking, everybody should be just about equally matched. Right. And the purpose of you know, the home and away, if the top teams continue to win, then the number 1 or number 2 team will play at home each game. But if there's an upset, then they reward the team that upsets a higher ranked team by allowing them to play at home in the next round.
Now, Coach, really won't get too political, but your thoughts about the split. And in basketball, you didn't have that many problems. Just your observation from football, Coach. Just looking from afar, if you want to comment on it. Well, you think it's a good deal, or?
Well, in football, I thought it was a good idea to split, and the reason being because it gives the average teams a chance to vie for a state championship. You know, in football, you do have some powerhouses here in the state of Louisiana that win year in and year out. They win state championship. So, excuse me. It allows more teams the opportunity of winning a state championship.
No doubt about it, Coach. Get some water. Okay. And Coach, now I want to talk about, we got a huge game. First of all, congratulations in the current situation here, 215. Congratulations on winning against Vanderbilt Catholic, which was a pretty decent team, Coach.
Right, that's correct.
They came in and they pushed us a little bit.
Right.
They were a good offensive team.
Right.
A little bit overmatched, but I thought, Coach, that the coach did a good job of showing you some things that you could work on, the zone defense. And
that's correct.
A little bit about that game, Coach. You still the same thing I did?
Right. You're right, Sean. I mean, when you get in the playoffs now, the coaches get a scouting report, and in some cases they even get film on your game, so they can break down the film and see the weaknesses and the strengths of your team. And I thought the coach at Vanderbilt Catholic did a great job of doing that. He just didn't have the personnel to match up with us.
Exactly. Now, Coach, you got the big one everybody's talking about, and we got a couple of big ones there as we move on to the second round, and we have an old rivalry. Tioga High School from the reservation over there in Tioga. Lance Brasher, a former student of yours, Coach, your entire thought, now this will be the third time we'll play them,
right,
about those Tioga Indians, Coach. And how are you going to approach it with your basketball team,
right,
Coach, and your mindset and the team mindset?
Well, you know, I'm very proud for Lance. Lance is a former player of mine. He's doing a great job over at high school. Excuse me. He, you know, he was on one of my 41-0 teams, so he knows how to win. He knows what it takes to win, and it seems though he's getting along and relating to his players real well. You know, that's correct. We will play Tioga for the third time this year, and our district was real strong this year. We played Leesville 3 times, and we had to play them for first and second place, and we were able to beat them in, you know, in the playoff game.
Absolutely.
So Tuesday night, coming in against Tioga High School, we're gonna have to prepare. Well, I mean, we're looking at film. My coach and I, Coach Kedrick Smith and myself, we've been looking at film, analyzing them, and as I said before, you look at the strengths and the weaknesses. And then you kind of go from there. So I feel real good about this game. I feel good about our chances, really, for winning a state championship.
Now, Coach, the Emerald Palace will definitely be packed Tuesday night with a lot of fans, and I understand that Tioga's requesting a lot of number of fans too. Coach, talk a little bit about these fans and how has the Warhorse Nation been helping you and been pushing this Warhorse basketball team?
Right. I've always said, since I've been at Peabody, that our fans have been our sixth man. I mean, every time you walk into that gym, it's the mystique of the fans. They're there. They're rooting us on. I mean, and some of them, no matter where we travel, north or south, they're there for us. So yes, you know, the fans are very, very important. You know, to Peabody basketball, and not only the fans, the community, the young people that come out and they support us, and like I said before, it's very, very important to Peabody basketball.
And Coach, we'll get into a little bit right now about the game itself with Tioga. Coach, take a look at it, and not necessarily all about the individual players, but Ford kid and a couple of kids over there. They're very outstanding kids. Lance does a good job with it. They got a development bench like you did. So I see the similarities in coaching. Coach, talk about a little bit about Tioga's team. You know, they're very talented a little bit.
They are, and you know, funny you mentioned about you know, the young Ford kid. He is the nephew of John Ford, which was the point guard on the team with Lance Brasher when we went 41-0. You know, the funny thing about that is the little Ford kid started at Peabody as a freshman.
Absolutely.
And 3 of Tioga players, 2 started out with me at Peabody, and I think 1 started out at Alexander Senior High. And these kids transferred over to over to Tioga. They transferred to Tioga, thinking that they would have a better opportunity to play.
Right.
So it's going to be very interesting, you know, and I think most of the kids on Tioga team, they live in Alexandria. So it's like a you know, backyard rivalry.
That's no doubt. Now, Coach, let's transition a little bit to our basketball team, which is outstanding, Coach. And you know what, Coach? I think you've probably done, I thought between last year and this year, some of your best work in the last 35 years. I actually see, because you took an absolute young team that had no experience, and you went second round, deep into almost the third round of basketball playoffs. This year, Coach, you lost 3 starters, Coach, basically to injuries, which we've been very blessed. Haven't had that situation the last 25 years that I've seen. Right. Talk a little bit about, Coach, that transition and those kids stepping up.
Well, you know, as I said earlier, Sean, I do not like to cut kids from my basketball program. And if the kids are willing to stick in there and hang in there and do the things that I ask them to do, their opportunities will come. And as you said, I had 3 major players injured this year. But because the other guys have been in the program, 9th grade, 10th grade, they were able to step up because they know what we expect in the Peabody program. So therefore, when young men get hurt, we don't have that great of a you know, of a letdown, because these guys are ready to step in and take these young. And I want to mention this also too, that 2 years ago we won the state championship, and on that state championship team, 7 of those boys were able to get scholarships to you know, to colleges.
Yeah.
So I want to say this to the young people: just because you don't make it as a freshman, or you don't make the first time, and you feel that you're not good enough, just hang in there and work hard, and I guarantee you it will pay off for you in the end. Because one of the young boys that played for me 2 years ago, Henry Pryor, he did not start. That's right. He was a 6th man, and he was able to get a scholarship his senior year.
As a 6th man.
Because we work with all of our boys. We don't just pick out 1 or 2 boys and try to push them to scholarships. Every boy on my team, when they come to me, I tell them, do you really want to get a college scholarship? And if you do, well, we'll make sure that you get one.
I'm talking with legendary head coach Charles Smith. His 900th win was just last Friday. And Coach, I'm looking at some of your statistics here on your 900 poster. 6 Louisiana State championships, Coach. That's just unbelievable. 2 state runners-up, and that was heartbreaks. I saw the tears myself.
That's right.
25 district championships, and that's just outstanding. 25. 3 Louisiana head coach of the year, the entire Louisiana coach. I think that's a great. And ladies and gentlemen, I saw the ring of a lifetime, the ESPN National Coach of the Year. Coach, I was in the office when that ring came in. We talked about that. It's a nice ring, and that's the coach of the entire year of the United States. So that's beautiful. National Coach of the Year. And Coach, you were able to beat the billionaire Michael Jordan, and now coach at the Michael Jordan All-Star Game. Coach, we talked about that. Coach, you had more All-Stars on that team than had in NBA, huh?
That's correct. That's correct. That was one of the highlights, the Michael Jordan All-Star Game.
Yeah, and then you also, Coach, you was the coach of the Louisiana All-Star Game. Coach, that was last year, and over 50 basketball scholarships. And you know, that's just amazing. So Coach, 900 wins and all these accomplishments, and you're still going. And Coach, I'm not going to ask the question when you're going to step down, but everybody wants to. We're going to hold that for later. But Coach, you know, as we said earlier, you're still in the playoffs currently right now.
That's right. And
the family is all involved. The team is ready, and it should be an outstanding basketball game. It's Peabody versus Tioga, 7 p.m.